Hello guys, I am the Kegman. Welcome to Kegman Plays and welcome to my top 11 English Wonderkids. Now, there are certain parameters I'm going to be looking for to make this 11. Number 1 will be cost, number 2 will be current ability, and number 3 will be potential ability. So, if your favourite youngster from your favourite club doesn't make it in, please take into account that is why. But do let me know in the comments below how you feel about it and why said player should be in this 11 Wonderkids. Well, I say Wonderkids, 11 player setup. Some of them aren't Wonderkids. There's so many bad players in England. But let's get into it, starting with the goalkeeper. So, for goalkeeper, I didn't really have much option. I could have gone with Kanaya Boyce-Clark from Reading, but I opted to go with Marcus Dewhurst from Carlisle. There's two major reasons I actually went for Marcus Dewhurst over Kanaya. Number 1, obviously value, and number 2 is potential ceiling. Now, Kanaya was a little bit better to begin with. He's a little bit younger, but overall Marcus Dewhurst actually has some really good potential. 161 as you can see here, and current ability of 80. Now he has got a long way to go, there is no denying that. He's not going to be a first choice goalkeeper anytime soon, but for the price point you do alright. You will do alright. Only downside is that he starts off on loan from Sheffield United. It will take a little bit of time maybe to get him in, but he should be a fantastic little player for you in the future. So I'm going to go with a twin centre-back pairing. Now I know most people play with a flat-back 4. Some people actually like to play with a flat-back 3. But I'm going to go with flat-back 4 for this lineup, and it's going to be a very strange lineup indeed. But we've got Taylor, Harwood, Bellis here to kick us off. He's at Manchester City. He's not going to be cheap, but he's already a fairly accomplished centre-back. Now, he does have a few physical defects, shall we say, that need to be worked on. His pace is a little bit low from where I'd like it to be. I like to use covering defenders. I like a high pressing line. His strength definitely needs a bit of work. I would also want to push his acceleration to help with his pace. However, determination's pretty damn good at 17. His heading's there, his marking's there. Tackling's already good, positioning needs a bit of work. But at 188 centimeters tall, at 17 years old, so 6'3" or 6'4". I think it's 6'3" actually. Thinking about it, he's going to be a great little player for you, and he has got a fairly good ceiling. Again, 148, current ability 95. So target is training, and he'll be a really strong centre-back. To partner him in the midfield and centre-back role is Jonathan Panzo. He's on loan at Cercle Bruges from AS Monaco. He's 18, so he won't be HGC, unfortunately, because he'll be on loan for the entire season. He'll come back, he'll be 19. But a great little player too. Again, physicals are a bit better than Taylor's. He's a year older, you know, his physicals are alright. His mentals are decent. He's 185 centimeters tall, so 6'2", and his ceiling is pretty damn good too. Potential ability is 152. His current's 102. Again, some targeted training. Maybe work again on his pace and obviously his strength as well. Heading needs a lot of work, as could marking. But ultimately, a fantastic centre-back pairing. If you want to get a young centre-back pairing from early on, developing, these are you guys to go to. So at left back, I'm going to be upsetting a lot of Manchester United fans. I know. I'm going to go with Josh Tymon, or Josh Timon. I don't actually know how you pronounce his name, but Josh Timon, however you pronounce his name, from Stoke, is a fairly well-rounded player already. Looking to use as a wing-back, which is what I like to use, he'll be pretty damn good. Now, he has got a few defects as a wing-back. As you can see, his acceleration, his pace is fairly low, as is his stamina, but you'll be able to do a good job of getting those up to scratch. Technically, it's a little bit of work, but he is only 20 years old, and he's going to be a good player. In fact, you could probably use him as a backup left-back in the Premier League from the off. He's also going to be a lot cheaper than Brandon Williams, and he's also got a fairly good potential with 145. Current ability 110, again, is going to be targeted training, mostly on the physicals, I would argue, before then leading into more technical than mental. But a fantastic little left back there. So, right wing back, we're going to go with Max Aarons from Norwich. Now, this man's not going to be cheap. There's no denying that. He's probably the most expensive player on the list so far, and he'll cost anywhere between 25 and 35 million pounds if you manage to do a few things like declare interest and get him unsettled, stick a scout on him. As a wing-back, he is nearly there. His crossing does need a lot of work, but he is only 19. Now, his physicals are really good for a wing-back. His acceleration, his pace at 16, both beautiful. But it might be worth trying to get maybe another point or two into those attributes. Definitely something on stamina before leaning into some mentals and then some more technical side of things. He is a good little player with a good little bit of ceiling here. I believe his potential ability is 160. It is, and his current is 137. So there's a good opportunity here to develop a beautiful young right wing back. So before we get down to the midfielders, let me just jump in to let you know that I do stream on Twitch. Yes, I know. Is this an advert for Twitch? Okay, yes it is. Did you make this video purely to drive traffic to Twitch? Yes, I did. Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, 8 PM over on Twitch. Sometimes a bit earlier. It's worth following me over on Twitter and maybe joining my Discord too. I'll put the links below. And let's get to the midfielders right about now. Now, I said I was going to go over a little bit of a strange formation, and I'm not denying that. This is kind of like almost a pencil down the middle of the midfield. But I wanted to show a player from each position. And I'm going to go with Noah Kenner for the DM role. Now, the reason I'm going to go with Noah Kenner, apart from the fact he's 16, he's also going to be one of the cheaper options available. Obviously, Declan Rice is probably the best English DM at the start of the game. But unfortunately for us, he will end up costing around about £60 to £85 million if you want to buy him from West Ham. Ronaldo Vieira was also an option, but ultimately I went with Noah Kenner. At Leeds, he's valued at 190. You're probably going to be paying around about £15 million for him, so he's not going to be cheap. However, he is a decent little player. You could probably retrain him as a centre-back should you want to, based on his height. He has a potential ability of 148, a current ability of 89, and decent physicals. But yeah, he's a good little DM. At 16, you can mould him however you want. Like I say, if you really wanted to, you could have him as a centre-back. You could probably have him a ball-playing centre-back. With his height of 190 centimetres, or 6'4/6'5", you've got yourself a good little option in either defence or midfield. Now, in centre mid, there was only really one option, and I'm sure everyone who's been playing FM20 this year, or in fact, even being aware of football this year, knew who it was going to be. It's going to be Jude Bellingham from Birmingham City. Now, he is 15, and he is ridiculously good for 15 years old. Physicals are superb, mentals are superb, and his technicals could use a little bit of work. But he'll cost you anywhere between 13.5 and 30 million. I've seen him go for around about 15 million pounds before. I've managed to sign him for 15 million pounds before, and he's well worth the money. Now, he's here as a midfielder, as a Mazzala actually. He probably could be better trained as a attacking midfielder, based on the fact his finishing and composure are fairly good for 15 already. Need to work on his stamina, need to work on his pace, he definitely needs to work on his balance. But he's got such a good ceiling. His potential ability of 173 and his current ability is 121. He is such a good player for such a low price point that if you're not buying him, you really are silly. Okay, now moving on to the left wing, there is only one real player to be picking here. There are a few other options. Callum Hudson-Odoi, Bukayo Saka, Dwight McNeil, Emil Smith-Rowe, butchering his name there. Ryan Sessegnon, all options. Curtis Jones even is an option. But ultimately, because of price and of potential ability and current ability, Jadon Sancho is the only real option. He'll walk straight into any first team in any club. Current ability of 155, potential of 178. Now, he's not going to be cheap. There is no denying that. He's valued at £43.5 million. You're probably going to be looking at anywhere between 70 to 90 million pounds to prize him away from Borussia Dortmund here, but he is well worth that price. On the right wing, we're going to go with Karamoko Dembele. Now, again, this is going to be more down to price point than anything else. Harvey Elliott at Liverpool is the best English right winger, but unfortunately, it's going to cost you a lot of money to prize him away from Liverpool. Reece Nelson at Arsenal is an option, as is Jack Clark from Tottenham. But Karamoko Dembele at Celtic, because he's at Celtic, means he's a more viable option. His physicals are decent, his technicals are decent. He is only 16 years old, so you can mould him how you want to. It'll probably cost you around about £7.5 million, and his potential ability is 149. He's not going to be a world beater, unfortunately, but he's a decent little right winger. And as I say, you can mould him however you want him to be. Okay, going with the obvious again here, we're going to go with Phil Foden at Manchester City. Now, there weren't really... you're kind of limited. When you start getting into attacking players, you're kind of limited, especially when it comes to ability and price. Next best player on the list would have been Mason Mount, followed up by Angel Gomez, and then after that, I believe it was Marcus Edwards at Vittoria Guimarães. But when it came to pure ability, pure price, potential ability, there was really only one option, and that was Phil Foden. Again, not a cheap player. Probably going to cost you around 60 million. He's got a potential ability of 175 and a current of 144. Now, as an attacking mid, you could probably retrain him as a striker should you want to. You could probably retrain him as a winger if you wanted to. But he's a very, very good shadow striker. He's a very good advanced playmaker. He's a little bit weak as a trequartista, if only because of his anticipation. But again, that's something you can improve on. But he's just a really good young player, and at 19, he's only going to improve. Okay, finally, striker. I'm going to go with Joe Gelhardt at Wigan here. This, again, is down to price point, and his current potential ability is pretty good. Now, there are better strikers about. I'm not going to deny that. Mason Greenwood is there. Eddie Nketiah, Ryan Brewster, Morgan Rogers. All excellent options. All better players than Joe Gelhardt. But the man is 17 years old. He's not going to be a monster. He's 176 centimetres tall. He's jumping reach of 7, heading of 8. You're not going to be using him as a target man if that's what you want to do. But as a false 9, pressing forward, he could do a decent job. He's probably not going to cost you all too much either. Probably around about the £10 million mark, having been valued at just over £500,000. Good potential ability of 153, current ability of 104. Would need some targeted training, but ultimately a good cheap price point. And I wanted to, after the last few players, I wanted to show one of the cheaper players out there. Obviously, everyone's heard of Mason Mount. Yeah, I thought as a good option. I will give you an alternative option should you decide that this man isn't good for you. We can go with Richie Hossler, Richie Hossler at Rangers, who again is 16. He's not as good. He's not really the finished product. But should you want someone else who is also a 153 and a current ability of 65, he's also a fair bit cheaper. He'll be a lot cheaper for you, in fact. It'll probably cost you around about £2.5 to £3 million. But I would really lean towards Joe Gelhardt, being the fact that, well, he's a slightly more finished product already. There we are, guys. That is my top 11 English Wonderkids. Now, I know, some of you are going to disagree. I know this, but I would like to hear your comments down below. Obviously, please don't forget to like, subscribe, maybe even, and join me over Twitch. Join me over at Twitch. I know the video is a little bit rough and ready, but that's just my style. I'm very much a streamer as opposed to a YouTuber. But it lends itself to streaming. So please do follow me over on Twitch. Follow me Twitter and my Discord down below. And I'll see you when I see you. Take care, folks. Stay safe. Bye-bye.